Good afternoon. My name is Connor McKinley, and the name of my presentation today is Georgia State University Football Program Under Fire. So essentially what this prompt here is explaining is the Georgia State University Football Program is essentially being reevaluated, and based on the evidence that I come up with, I aim to decide whether or not the program should actually stay around for the long haul or be disbanded entirely. Alright, so this video right here really illustrates my standpoint on the topic, and I feel it does a really good job of explaining where Georgia State football is at its current place and time. So.
When he hit that shot, it brought a lot of people together. People still talk about it. People still live it.
When R.J. Hunter launched a three-pointer to keep Georgia State alive in the NCAA tournament last March, it instantly became a highlight reel classic. For the university, that one shot became a turning point in school history.
It was really kind of the first time that Georgia State got put on the map and kind of got put in the national spotlight. It was an amazing feeling just kind of for everybody.
The university or athletic department needed something great to happen for it. There are now students that walk around in a Georgia State shirt with pride that may not have done that before.
You know, you got people who knew who we were, but didn't realize what exactly our athletic program was. So for them to see that shot and what our basketball team did in the NCAA tournament really opened their eyes to our university.
But it wasn't just outsiders who took notice. After winning only 2 games in the last 3 years, the football team was searching for inspiration heading into the program's 6th season.
We saw it as an opportunity for us to come out as a football program and do the same kind of thing.
We knew that, you know, we need to make something happen in football so that we could get the hype, so that we could get, you know, the fans that they have.
After starting 2-6, the Panthers rallied to win their last 4 games, earning a bowl bid for the first time in school history.
To make a bowl in just the 6th season of existence is mind-boggling.
This reaches a lot of people. This reaches alumni. It reaches a 16-year-old who might decide, I'm going to Georgia State now because I just heard about what they're doing over here.
The excitement that our football team is starting to bring to the school is great because the South is really heavy on football.
Georgia State football getting the invitation to this bowl game is somewhat the equivalent of the basketball team making the NCAA tournament. We've never had 2 monumental athletic events to happen so closely as these 2 have.
I really want to build a national brand that's sustainable. And now football has really helped with that. We're just setting the foundation here. And we're looking to grow this university. The days for Georgia State are going to be better in the future.
So as illustrated in the video, I really feel that it's an obvious choice to keep around the Georgia State football program based on the fact that it's not declining, but it's at its turning point, meaning there are greener grasses ahead of the program, so to speak. So it's an obvious choice, in my opinion, to keep it alive. Now, pretty much some points that I used as basis for an evaluation of the program is the team success, the ability for the team to actually, win, what pieces they have in place to win, the team's coaching structure, whether or not a new coach is needed, to revitalize the program, or whether the coach and the present coach rather is doing a satisfactory job. The attendance at home games, obviously without attendance, no fans, no games. So, that's obviously a very critical part to the analysis of the program altogether. And your alumni participation rate, how involved is the alumni, the money that they're putting towards the program every year, the tickets they buy, is it getting better or worse? And if so, how does that, or either way, how is that affecting the program altogether? So here are just some compiled facts about Georgia State football, just to refresh you on the situation. Really, we were established in 2010 as an FCS football program, meaning that's kind of more or less a less competitive side of college football than Division I. Usually the bigger name athletes go Division I, and that's just kind of how the process works. But after 3 short years, really, we transitioned to D1 football and joined the Sun Belt Conference in 2013. So even though we've had such a small body of work, really, we've put in a lot of work against some of the most notable football programs in the United States. Actually, with just these 7 here on the screen, they have 729 years of experience, whereas we only have 6. So it's kind of what we're looking at here. It's very competitive, but that's the price you pay for joining Division I football, I guess. Georgia State head coaches Bill Curry and Trev Miles over the last 2 seasons, or over the last 6 seasons rather. And then we've actually had 1 bowl appearance, which was last year against San Jose State in Orlando, Florida, in the Cure Bowl. And as you can see, we also have some notable NFL alumni as well. So, all right, so now it's time to really address the misconceptions about the program and silence the people that think that Georgia State football is not a record program, is a subpar football program rather. Now, as I stated before, a big thing to look at really is the record. However, in our case scenario, while it is seen that really our record is 17-53, that's not very good for a large body of work, or for any program really. But with such a small body of work, I feel like that can be improved upon in years to come. And there are also some spots where we have really improved as a program. As you can see, last year even we had a 500 record, 6-6, which is really the goal for us right now in the beginning stages. Also, we had 432 yards per game, which really outbeat teams such as Alabama, Georgia Southern, Texas A&M. Very reputable schools. We're starting to be competitive with them, so things are looking brighter for us in that regard. Also, things that might have negatively impacted our all-time record right now is the fact we've had 2 head coaches in the first 6 seasons, which makes it really difficult to recruit and schedule visits. They might have different ways of approaching recruits, attracting recruits, getting them to come through. So, there hasn't really been a long enough time for one coach to put his footprint on the program yet. So, that might have negatively impacted the record, which now that we have, Coach Miles in and hopefully there for the long haul, we can improve on that as well. And finally, really, this is kind of overshot here because, after 6 seasons, we're the first program to reach a bowl game at that quick of a pace. Meaning, that's really historic for our program, and obviously brighter things are in store for us. So, now the number 2 misconception that I really came through while researching articles is that nobody attends the GSU football games, which is not true, but I can understand why people might see that as an actual fact there. But really, when you look at the numbers, we had 90,000 attendees at our games our 6 home games last year rather, which averages out to about 15,000 people per game. Now, while this isn't great, it's really on par with programs such as Harvard, FIU, UNLV. So, for a team that is really in the beginning processes, it's not far off where it needs to be. However, I can understand how people might draw this conclusion here because of the venue we play at, which kind of really negatively affects our program as it stands right now. One being that we play in the Georgia Dome, which in our 6 home games last year, as I previously stated, we had 90,000 attendees. The Georgia Dome can hold 100,000 at least. So no matter how many people you're putting in that dome per game day, it's not going to look good for the program, and it's not really that great of a game day venue. The distance from campus is also a big issue. Average campus distance from on-campus housing to a football field or football facility rather, is about 0.86 miles, where Georgia State is about 1.2 miles, and it's kind of through an area of Atlanta that's not really the safest, I would say, so that might negatively impact it as well. And finally, our parking options at the Georgia Dome are very limited, considering we're a smaller school playing in a large venue. Some lots and gates might not be open and things of that, that sort there, which obviously could, have a really negative effect in the long run and might not hurt our attendance, but might, plateau it at the very least. So to, address this misconception really is a Turner Field project here, which solves practically all three of the problems I previously stated there. The plan includes it's a 67-acre renovation of the Turner Field area. It's projected to cost about $300 million. They want to put new institutional Georgia State classrooms, dorms, shops, things of that nature that could really revitalize that whole area, with football being the focal point there. So, it's a very exciting time for our program, and I think this is really a step in the right direction for us. But if you still believe that, axing the Georgia State University football program is the way to go, some negative repercussions of that choice would really be, one, the alumni donations are going to decrease because, they are a huge part in buying the tickets, the ad space, the viewing contracts for the football program, pretty much in full there. And by, getting rid of the football program, that's revenue that Georgia State now has to make up somewhere else. The quality of life at Georgia State probably will be unchanged or potentially could decrease, mainly based on the fact that being that the Turner Field project is based on the plans for the football program, it might hinder the progress, considering if there is no football program, they might not have a way to, they might have to reevaluate that plan altogether. And finally, the quality of applicants at Georgia State may also take a hit, mainly because college football is such a big part of the college experience. It's an extracurricular activity that allows you to socialize with classmates, and it really is an experience for the college student. And by getting rid of the program, you're taking away an experience, and some applicants might be turned away by that and decide to go to other schools, which, as far as the cycle of recruitment goes, you pass on quality applicants, you're passing on quality alumni in the long term, which really could damage this whole cycle as it is. So in summation, although Georgia State has experienced some growing pains, with the subpar record, not necessarily the program, but the record. However, I really don't see a reason to get rid of the program. In fact, I think that Georgia State University is putting in all the necessary pieces and effort in areas that really will boost the credibility of this program, will address things like attendance and recruiting. Now that we have a little bit more ground to stand on, we're a little bit more well established than we were at one point. So furthermore, I really believe this is the turning point for this university, and if handled correctly, this could be a great football program in years to come. Thank you. Blue Blue.